keys to my car, which unfortunately may be toast. Let's get into it, I guess. So basically what happened is I was driving home one night in my EF, and I was focusing on the road because where I live in Montana. Lots of wildlife cross the street at night, making sure I didn't crash into anything, which is why my eyes were focused on the road and not my dash, which was unfortunate. And it also didn't help that at some point I assumed that it was me, I had turned the lights. I have a little dial that controls how bright the dash is. I had turned that down, so I couldn't actually see my dash even when it was dark, which didn't help because I was just not paying attention to it whatsoever. And then at some point after driving for a couple miles, going back to my house, I realized that my car was overheating, and I was kind of crapping myself because I was like, I had no idea how long it had been overheating, and driving an overheating car, bad thing, very bad thing. So I had no idea how long my car was overheating for, so I was kind of crapping myself. So I pulled off as soon as I could. My oil light came on, and at that point I just turned my car off completely and just coasted to where I could pull off. And then after about half an hour or so, I checked the coolant and stuff, and it was all gone. It was just completely empty, which was strange. There was some white smoke I noticed when I parked, and a very sweet smell, which is burning coolant. So I assumed that all of that burnt. I was on top of the Zimmerman road, and it's kind of a sketchy road. It's very windy and steep, and I was parked on top of it basically, and I needed to get home, and it was like 1 a.m. and I didn't have money for a tow truck, so I just coasted. I had to push it through the intersection, so I pushed it through the intersection on the side of it, like holding the A-pillar, and then as soon as it started going by itself, I hopped in. Thankfully there was no traffic because this was super early, like 1 a.m., somewhere around there, so I was just kind of coasting down this super sketch road at 1 in the morning. It was pretty fun actually, but terrifying. So at this point I pull off as soon as that road ends into this little neighborhood. Went to the gas station and I just grabbed like jugs of water and some whatever cheap 5W30 they had, and I just threw it in my car, hoping that maybe I could get home, and I did, you know. At this point when we finally got back to my car, it was probably like 2 in the morning, and I put all that stuff in, all the fluids in my car, and I turned it on and it started right up. And then I started driving home, and when I got home, I turned the car off and I was like, huh, that was really weird. So I turned it on again, and it turned on just fine, and all of a sudden you could feel the engine go like it was stuttering both, I don't know, really badly. So I turned my car off and I went to bed. And then a few days later, I did a really ghetto oil change. Basically, I just drained the oil and put in new oil. I didn't change the filter or anything. And then I put in new coolant because it was just water. It wasn't even distilled water. It was just regular water that was in there. Turned my car on, and it started up, and it ran fine, weirdly, for like an hour. I wasn't driving it. I did my driveway, basically, and it was fine, which was really strange. New spark plugs, I took them out, and I just checked them. They were very white, you know, burning. I put them back in. God, it's so hot. Look at all the sweat in my forehead. Ugh. I am not left-handed. Anyway. Oh my god. Get in there. Place your bets. Oh god. Alright. So that feels absolutely terrible. Oh, where you at? But yeah, so basically I don't know what to do at this point. Do I swap it? I don't think it's worth a rebuild because it's a D15 B2 and those aren't really worth much. So I think swapping would be the best choice. Also, I could get a different car. I don't know. We'll see. I have been looking at one. It's a secret. I'll give you a hint. It ends with a Z, but I'd like to hear your opinions. Diagnostic stuff is not really what I'm into, so if you have any idea, let me know. Also, I'm closing the hood with my head because I'm an idiot. Okay, there we go. Let's close that hood so hard. Whew. Yeah, so basically that's it. So be good people, take care of each other. Peace. I'll see you next one. Boink.